put on makeup for you all. Hey everybody, I'm back with my October and November wrap-up as well as somewhat of a December TBR. I apologize if I sound funny. I'm getting over a really bad cold that I've had for the last like 3 or 4 days. In fact, I'm still kind of feeling it, but with new living situations with roommates and such, I found this was the only day that I'm home by myself, so I decided this needed to be a day that I recorded, so I threw on some makeup on my face, even though I still feel like shit, and decided to record this video. So as I said before, I haven't been reading a whole lot at all. I've been doing a lot more reading this month though, just because, especially this past week with being sick, like nothing makes me feel better than sleeping and reading when I'm sick. Like, it's like the two best combinations right there. So I didn't really get to go over what I read in October at all because it was a smaller amount. I decided to wait till November was done and then go over them together. So in October, the first book that I read was Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevre. This is the only book in my October TBR that I actually managed to finish reading. This is a really, really good book. I gave this, I believe, 4 out of 5 stars. A lot better than I thought. I was really in the mood for more fantasy, and this definitely was a good read. Lately, I've been more in the mood for adult fantasy than YA fantasy, so I haven't been able to pick up the second book in this series, but I definitely will when I get the chance. And so yes, 4 out of 5 stars for Grave Mercy. The manga that I was reading in October was for the Booktuber Manga Club, and the series that I had chosen for everyone to read was Pet Shop of Horrors by Matsuri Akino, and I managed to read Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. I couldn't manage to get any further than this just because of all the stuff that was happening in October, but what I did read I really, really enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it as much as I remember enjoying it, so I did give this 3 out of 5 stars, and hopefully I'll get around to finishing the rest of the series here soon, but we'll see. I can't exactly remember if I had finished this book in September or October or even November. I can't even tell you when I finished this book, but it was Akadem's Fury by Jim Butcher. This is book 2 in the Codex Alara series. I honestly can't tell you when I finished this. I really don't know. Maybe I did already put this in a wrap-up if I finished it and I've already told you guys. I apologize, but it has really been that long. So I finished this, and that just leads me into November, what I read in November, which was Cursor's Fury by Jim Butcher, which is book 3 in the Codex Alara series, and I flew through this book. This book was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars as well, by the way, but this is like 5.5 out of 5 stars. If I could really give it more than 5 stars, I would. I really enjoyed it. And then in November for the Booktuber Manga Club, I had chosen to read books that are related to cooking, to do with the Thanksgiving theme, since I live in America and I celebrate Thanksgiving. So the main series that I had chosen for us to read was Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars, story by Yuto Tsukuda and art by Shun Saeki. And I have mixed feelings about this book. I really enjoyed the food aspects of it. They do go into explaining like how they cook things, and I really enjoyed that part, and the art style is very realistic. Like, the food looks really yummy when you look at it. I mean, look at the cover of that. My only issue that I had with this was that in this, they make the reaction to food very over-dramatic, which I've watched and read manga like that before. Like, that's just manga. It over-dramatizes everything. So when a female would eat some of the food, their reaction was always had some kind of like orgasmic sexual feeling to it, and I didn't like that at all. It could have done without it. Seriously, I would have really enjoyed this series had that not been a factor in it. And I know this is more like geared towards guys. This is a series that is in Shonen Jump right now. This is an ongoing series. They want to do something for their male fans, but as a female, I found that, I don't know, I just did not enjoy it. So she eats something and like, this is her reaction. She feels like she's basically being molested. Like, I don't see why that needs to be a factor in there. Anyways, I ended up giving this 2 out of 5 stars. I'm not sure if I'll be continuing it. I heard they are planning on making an anime series out of this manga, and I might check that out. I'm sure it's going to do the same thing, though. I might try reading a little bit more of it, just to see if it's something that they continue to do a lot more of, which I'm sure they will. But if it's not, it might be something that I can overlook later on. So, other than that, like, I was really enjoying the other aspects of the story. It's about this main character, and he wants to be a famous chef, so he ends up applying for this famous chef school, and it's supposed to be like the most prestigious, awesome cooking school, and it's just a lot of tough competition. You know, the usual shonen manga where they have like battles against each other, except in this it's like food wars where they like have to have cook-offs and stuff like that. So if you can get past that, it's a really good manga. The other one that I actually only ended up reading the first volume for, and I kind of put it on as a read for our Manga Booktube Club, but I didn't really get that far into it. So, and that is Mixed Vegetables by Ayumi Komura, which is a shoujo romance about cooking, and I only managed to read this first volume over again, which I really, really enjoyed. 4 out of 5 stars. I love the series, and possibly will continue it, but as of right now, it's obviously not something that was catching my attention since I only managed to read the 1 volume the whole month, so perhaps I will pick it up eventually in the near future. But for now, 4 out of 5 stars for this one. So on to my TBR pile. I made a rather ambitious TBR pile for December, but I've actually been reading a lot lately. I'm in the middle of 2 books right now, and the first one I took the dust jacket off is Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. I'm about halfway through this book, and I just started it yesterday, so I'm in the mood more for adult fantasy right now, but I'm liking the kind of short break that I'm taking since I've been reading this one series for a really, really long time. I needed a break and to read something really easy, so it was just a nice, refreshing break away from heavy adult fantasy. It's about a world where this land is split up into 8 kingdoms. 4 of them are based off of the seasons, and 4 of them are called the Rhythms realms. So the main character, Myra, is from the Kingdom of Winter that has been lost due to a battle against the Kingdom Spring, and Spring kind of took over Winter, kind of demolished Winter, and so the Kingdom of Winter is kind of, at the moment, no longer existent. So she is one of the very few survivors of this kingdom, and it's kind of their struggle into getting their kingdom back to the way it was. And there's a lot of magic and intrigue involved, but so far I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's getting to a good, you know, the typical romance triangle thing. It's getting to that point in the book right now, so I'm kind of enjoying it. The other book I'm in the middle of is Captain's Fury by Jim Butcher. This is book 4 in the Codex Alara series. I love this series so much. I am about 15 chapters in, 171 pages. Love this series. And I have to tell you, like, the main character in this series, Tabby, he has gone through some major changes in this book. Like, from books 1 through 3 to this book, wow, what a change in character. And I am absolutely loving his change in character. It's such a positive change, such a positive growth for him, and you guys should all pick this series up. This is an amazing adult fantasy, kind of set in a alternate fantasy Roman era time. So really, really cool. I'm sure you guys have all heard this spoken about from many other booktubers because it's really popular, but if you have not yet checked it out, I again will reiterate how amazing this series is and that you should check it out, like, immediately. As for what I would like to be reading the rest of the month, for the Booktube Manga Club, I have chosen for us to read, which was written by Yoshiki Tanaka, and the art is by Arakawa Hiromu, which is the author and illustrator of Fullmetal Alchemist, my favorite series. Again, I reiterate that. And this series is amazing. I just received book 2 in the mail the other day, although I've already read all of it online, so I haven't actually physically read this copy, but it's still a wonderful series, and I wanted to own it. Amazing, epic, historical fiction series. I'm not sure if there's going to be any fantasy elements mixed in with it, but I do know I've done my research on this series now, and I do know that this series has been turned into an anime previously before. This is based off a novel series by Yoshiki Tanaka. There's about 14 or 15 volumes out at the moment. I'm not sure if it's like an ongoing fictional series or if it's done. It is an untranslated novel series, although I would love to actually read the physical novels now that I've read these. It has not been translated into English yet, so I am forced to continue just reading these. By the way, I've already read these. This is not like a TBR, so I don't know if it can count as my December TBR, but yeah. If you want to join us in reading this series, we'll leave a link to the club down below, and you can join us. Please come pick this up. This is amazing! Since I'm in the subject of manga, I was thinking of picking up The Seven Deadly Sins by Nakabatsu Suzuki. I purchased this book so long ago, and it just sat on my shelf, and an anime series for this recently came out, and I watched like the first episode or two of it, and I do plan on reading it now because I really enjoyed that episode, and we will see. It's kind of reminiscent to me, just looking at it, of Fairy Tail, and I love Fairy Tail. I mean, I'm sure it's completely different, but it's a very popular series right now, so I want to check it out. The other major series I plan on finishing that I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm going to say is the Codex Alara series by Jim Butcher. So we have Princeps Fury, which is book 5, and First Lord's Fury, which is the final and 6th book, and I want to finish these in December. These are such big books, though. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. But I read book 3 so quickly. Who knows? Maybe I'll finish it really quickly, and then I'll get to these. But this is definitely a goal, a huge goal for me for the end of the year. Wish me luck! If in some miracle I actually finish the Codex Alara series, there were 2 options of other book series that I wanted to either continue or start, and that would be whether or not if I felt like reading another adult fantasy or something easier. So I chose one of each just to see in case. So the young adult fantasy novel that I chose to pick up after the Codex Alara series, if I do plan on finishing it, is Finnick of the Rock by Melina Marchetta. And this has been raved about by quite a number of booktubers, and I've had it on my shelf for a little while now, and I definitely want to check it out. Also, over the Thanksgiving holiday, I managed to find the second book in this series. I think they're companion novels, though I don't think they're actually related to one another. I haven't exactly done my research on that part, so I have to look more into that, but yes. So I do plan on either picking this up, or if I feel more like an adult fantasy novel, I do need to continue another series that I had already started, and that is the Mistborn trilogy. I've only read the first book, and so this is the second book, All of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and I really loved the first book, so I need to continue on with the series and continue reading because Brandon Sanderson is an amazing writer. So yeah, it's all going to be dependent on whether or not I finish the Codex Alara series, and so we have those 2 options. So that is all for my wrap-up for October, November, / my December TBR-ish pile. I am behind on a couple tags, and I also need to record a manga probe video or 2 here coming up soon, so look forward to that, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!